4 of the Diary of Sister Faustina Kowalska, JMJ. Today Jesus came to live in my heart. He descended from his throne on high, the great Lord, the creator of all things, and he came to me in form of bread. O eternal God, in my bosom enclosed, possessing you, I possess all heaven, and with the angels I sing to you, Holy, I live for your glory alone. Not with the seraph do you unite yourself, O God, but with the wretched man, who can do nothing without you, but to him you are ever merciful. My heart is your abode, O King of eternal glory. Rule in my heart and be Lord, as in a palace of splendor untold. O great incomprehensible God, who deign to abase yourself so, humbly I adore you, and beg you in your goodness to save me. JMJ. O sweet Mother of God, I model my life on you. You are for me the bright dawn. In you I lose myself enraptured. O Mother, Immaculate Virgin, in you the divine ray is reflected. Midst storms 'tis you who teach me to love the Lord. O my shield and defense from the foe. Krakow, August 10th, 1937. Sister Mary Faustina of the Blessed Sacrament. O sacred host, fountain of divine sweetness, you give strength to my soul. O, you are the omnipotent one who took flesh of the Virgin. You come to my heart in secret, beyond reach of the groping senses. JMJ, Krakow, August 10th, 1937. Notebook 4. All for you, Jesus, I desire to adore your mercy with every beat of my heart, and to the extent that I am able to encourage souls to trust in that mercy, as you yourself have commanded me, O Lord. In my heart, in my soul, there is a dark night. My spirit has come up against an impenetrable wall that hides God from me, but this darkness is not of my doing. Strange indeed is this torture of which I fear to write in full. But even in this state I am trying to be faithful to you, O my Jesus. Always and in all things my heart beats for you alone. August 10th, 1937. I came back today from Rabka to Krakow. I feel very ill. Only Jesus knows how much I am suffering. During these days I have very much resembled Jesus crucified. I have armed myself with patience in order to explain to each sister why I was not able to stay there. That is, because my health had become worse, even though I knew very well that certain sisters would inquire, not out of sympathy for my sufferings, but in order to add to them. O Jesus, what darkness is enveloping me, and what nothingness is penetrating me. But my Jesus, do not leave me alone. Grant me the grace of faithfulness. Although I cannot penetrate the mystery of God's visitation, it is in my power to say, your will be done. August 12th. On passing through Krakow, Reverend Father Sopoko paid me a short visit today. I had wanted to see him, and God fulfilled my desire. This priest is a great soul, entirely filled with God. My joy was very great, and I thank God for this great grace, because it was for the greater glory of God that I wanted to see him. O living host, O hidden Jesus, you see the condition of my soul. Of myself I am unable to utter your holy name. I cannot bring forth from my heart the fire of love, but, kneeling at your feet, I cast upon the tabernacle the gaze of my soul, the gaze of faithfulness. As for you, you are ever the same, while within my soul a change takes place. I trust that the time will come when you will unveil your countenance, and your child will again see your sweet face. I am astonished, Jesus, that you can hide yourself from me for so long, and that you can restrain the enormous love you have for me. In the dwelling of my heart, I am listening and waiting for your coming. O only treasure of my heart. The Lord Jesus greatly protects his representatives on earth. How closely he is united with them, and he orders me to give priority to their opinion over his. I have come to know the great intimacy which exists between Jesus and the priest. Jesus defends whatever the priest says and often complies with his wishes, and sometimes makes his own relationship with the soul depending on the priest's advice. O Jesus, through a special grace I have come to know very clearly to what extent you have shared your power and mystery with them. More so than with the angels. I rejoice in this, for it is all for my good. O my Jesus, when someone is unkind and unpleasant toward us, it is difficult enough to bear this kind of suffering, but this is very little in comparison to a suffering which I cannot bear, namely that which I experience when someone exhibits kindness towards me and then lays snares at my feet at every step I take. What great willpower is necessary to love such a soul for God's sake. Many a time one has to be heroic in loving such a soul as God demands. Contact with that person was infrequent, it would be easier to endure, but when one lives in close contact with the person and experiences this at each step. This demands a very great effort. My Jesus, penetrate me true and true so that I may be able to reflect you in my whole life. Divinize me so that my deeds may have supernatural value. Grant that I may have love, compassion, and mercy for every soul without exception. O my Jesus, each of your saints reflects one of your virtues. I desire to reflect your compassionate heart, full of mercy. I want to glorify it. Let your mercy, O Jesus, be impressed upon my heart and soul like a seal, and this will be my badge in this and the future life. Glorifying your mercy is the exclusive task of my life. August 15th, 1937, Father Andrea's instructions. These times of dryness and stark awareness of one's wretchedness which God has permitted allow the soul to know how little it can do by itself. They will teach you how much you should appreciate God's graces. Secondly, faithfulness in all exercises and duties. Faithfulness in everything, just as in times of joy. Thirdly, as regards the matters in question, be absolutely obedient to the Archbishop Kowalska, although from time to time the matter can be brought to his attention, but peacefully. Sometimes a little bitter truth is necessary. At the end of the conversation, I asked the priest to allow me to commune with Jesus as I had done formerly. He answered, I cannot give orders to the Lord Jesus, but if he himself draws you to himself, you may follow the attraction. However, always remember to show him great reverence, for the Lord is great indeed. If you are truly seeking God's will in all this and desire to fulfill it, you can be at peace. The Lord will not allow any sort of error. As to the mortifications and sufferings, you will give me an account next time of how you can carry them out. Place yourself in the hands of the Most Holy Mother. August 15th, 1937. During meditation, God's presence pervaded me keenly, and I was aware of the Virgin Mary's joy at the moment of her Assumption towards the end of the ceremony, carried out in honor of the Mother of God. I saw the Virgin Mary, and she said to me, "Oh, how very pleased I am with the homage of your love." And at that moment she covered all the sisters of our congregation with her mantle. With her right hand she clasped Mother General Michael to herself, and with her left hand she did so to me, while all the sisters were at her feet covered with her mantle. Then the Mother of God said, "Everyone who perseveres zealously till death in my congregation will be spared the fire of purgatory." And I desire that each one distinguish herself by the following virtues: humility and meekness, chastity and love of God and neighbor, compassion and mercy. After these words, the whole congregation disappeared from my sight, and I remained alone with the Most Holy Mother, who instructed me about the will of God and how to apply it to my life. Submitting completely to his most holy decrees, it is impossible for one to please God without obeying his holy will. My daughter, I strongly recommend that you faithfully fulfill all God's wishes, for that is most pleasing in his holy eyes. I very much desire that you distinguish yourself in this faithfulness in accomplishing God's will. Put the will of God before all sacrifices and holocausts. While the Heavenly Mother was talking to me, a deep understanding of this will of God was entering my soul. My Jesus, the light of my heart, when my soul is filled with your divinity, I accept sweetness and bitterness with the same equanimity. One and the other will pass away. All that I keep in my soul is the love of God. For this I strive, all else is secondary.